All right, we got day 221, building a startup and documenting the entire process. So we hit up all the managers that I know today to try to circle back and schedule some calls in the coming weeks because I think we really want to almost approach this like it's day one in a sense for the manager use case because it seems like it's more valuable for managers and we've gotten some positive feedback, but to be honest, we have not talked to anywhere near as close to as many managers as artists. So I think we do need to do a lot more work to truly understand that use case. So, in addition to hitting up these managers, we know a priority of ours is going to be to start reaching out to managers that we find through Instagram or TikTok or whatever to try to hop on calls and just understand more about their process, not necessarily even where they're experiencing pain points, but just how they're operating, what tools they're using, etc., so that we can ideally build something that truly is valuable. And then on top of that, the majority of the day I actually spent tinkering with the artist version. Because so like I said, we kind of want to start with the manager version and the artist version is more in the future. But with that, it's actually kind of exciting because we can just experiment with a lot of stuff on the artist version and it's pretty low pressure. So last night on our Zoom call, we talked about objectives, which was interesting, and basically how we ended things was that each artist who came to the sesh had like two or three objectives that they were going to work on for the week ahead just to kind of set some intention and approach the week with more clarity. And so obviously we want our platform to be about motivation, about accountability, about consistency. And so we have been thinking about how we can add more intention, whether it's like monthly or weekly or whatever, just like help people understand really what they're building towards because it feels like that will help people stay for the long term. So with that in mind, and then also from this call yesterday, we spent most of the day actually messing around with what a new design could look like that is centered around objectives. And so actually pretty hype. We worked on that all day. And so now we have this other version that is based on objectives and I don't know, it looks actually kind of hype. I think I'm going to use it for day to day for the next like week and see what it's like. But the overall idea is that you can put in your weekly objectives that you maybe identify in the weekly check-ins, which we already have in, and then from there you can essentially work to build out tasks on to those weekly objectives, but it just kind of intention sets you every morning when you wake up and well, I mean, we'll see. It's only been one day, but that's kind of the hypothesis that yeah, it's better to kind of work towards something every week, and then with each weekly check-in, you can set up new objectives and stuff like that. And ideally, it starts to separate it a little bit more from just like your typical project management tool because there's this kind of motivation, accountability, intention type aspect. But I can't lie, as I was going through it, I was kind of like, what? Like, is this a total waste of time? Like, are we just overbuilding, just like doing shit to pass the time because we want to do something? But ultimately, my conclusion was that I think it is worth experimenting with a concept like this because the reality is that we have not hit product market fit on the artist side with our current tool. There are some people using it pretty consistently, but not a lot to be honest, especially with the amount of people we've gotten on. The conversion rate to actual power users is pretty low. So with that, it seems like it's worth experimenting and tinkering with these different ways to structure and kind of like reimagine what actually the core experience really looks like. Ultimately, still trying to get to the same goal of just kind of encouraging consistency and accountability, but thinking about different ways to get there. And so we also thought about this concept. Actually, my sister brought it up today about a usability test, which is probably something we should have been doing for a while, but we haven't. So, an idea that we were kind of thinking is we could almost get like three different versions, like the current one, maybe one that has a little bit more gamification, and then also maybe this one that's mainly around objectives, and start actually hopping on calls with people and giving them the three different versions and just kind of hearing thoughts and maybe asking specific questions um, to kind of see people's vibes on it and stuff like that. But so yeah, I guess I'm actually kind of excited, even though I don't seem excited. I'm yeah kind of excited about where that might go. We just have to clean it up a little bit tomorrow, and then I don't know. Maybe we'll start like having new people who come in just like start on that version and kind of catch their vibe, see if they have it's more sticky. I don't know, but yeah, essentially continuing with managers as still the priority because it does still seem closer, but then just tinkering with the artist version even if it is more long term. Um, yeah. Overall, solid day. Following the journey. I will catch you all tomorrow.